Alright, so we're going to take a look at the door system implemented for 2.3. So we're going to take a look at this example door we have over here. So currently there's a key system for this door and I don't have the key for it, so I'm going to try to unlock it. It's not going to let me unlock it and it's going to play an animation to show me that I can't unlock it. So I don't know if you noticed, but let's say if I'm looking down or I'm offset and I try to interact with this door, the animation system is still gonna interpolate to the correct offset and it's not gonna use any AI controller or anything like that. It's going to use the controller input through a tick function. So it's going to always look correct even in a third person project. So let's grab the key for this door and let's try to unlock it now. And you can see that the door or the valve it snapped to a different value. That's just because I didn't animate the valve in the correct sequence. So that's on my part. So now it's open. We are able to physically interact with this door and you can hear these sounds. So all these sounds, they are based off how much power we are putting into the mouse or the whatever controller you're using, maybe a gamepad. So if I start moving this door very slowly, it's not going to play any of those sounds. If I start moving it very fast, it's going to play different sounds. And if I close it gently, it's not going to play any shut sound. If I violently just close it like this, it's going to play shut sounds. Also, let's there's also the auto closing. There's the delay, so there's also auto closing for this. And also since this is a one-sided door, if I try to, let's say, lock it from this side, it's not going to let me do anything. So you can see these red traces over here. This is showing that I'm trying to interact with it. So it's only the front we are able to interact with, so it's not going to let me do anything. Alright, let me just show the percentage for the power. So when we are moving the door through the mouse, there's a percentage that's happening, that's being calculated, and we are able to fire different events based off those percentages. Okay, that's pretty much it for the percentage power. So now let's take a look at the actual settings of the door and how to get all of that set up in your own blueprint. So the first thing you'll want to do is head over to the skeletal mesh of your door. So here is my skeletal mesh for the door, and you'll need to put in 3 sockets in here. First is the DIS yaw. So this is just a socket that should be pointing up, or it should be pointing in the direction where we are going to try to rotate the door from. So if we put this axis like this, it's going to start rotating the door sideways. So let's take a look at that right now. And let's unlock it before we do anything. So now when I interact with it, this is how it's going to work. So we don't want that. We want it to be facing up. Alright, and the door back. So this is a socket that should be placed at the back of the door, anywhere, just offset from the center a little bit up. So when we do a trace, it's always going to hit it properly. And the DIS door, so this is the pivot point where we are going to try to rotate from, or where we are going to apply the rotation values at. So you can imagine them as the hinges. Okay, and the y-axis over here, it should always be pointing to the front. And the x-axis, it should be pointing to the outside. Okay, and that's pretty much it for the sockets inside the skeletal mesh component. And you also need to make sure your physics asset is configured properly, or we are not going to be able to tell if we are facing the front or the back. Alright, that's pretty much it for that. Let's take a look at the settings. So for the initialization, the required key/item. So this is the item that should be in the storage of the player. So if we don't have this, we're not going to be able to unlock it or lock it. And if it's left empty, then the blueprint is going to assume that this door does not need a key to be locked or unlocked. And this is good for doors that that don't need to be physically animated, which is controlled by this boolean over here, door swing. So if this is set to true and the player is holding E while facing the door, they are going to be able to animate it while it's unlocked. And also you're able to set the break distance when the door is being animated. So if the player steps further than 210 points from the door, it's going to break all the controls. So let's take a look at that right now. So here, animating it, I'm gonna step back, and I can't animate it anymore. Alright, and the door settings. So these door settings over here, you'll have the front offset and back offset. So these are the arrows over here. This is what the arrows are doing over here. These arrows are showing you where the player is going to be placed and start playing the animation you want them to play. So if you don't know what these values represent, I'll do another tutorial for paired animations, but I'll show you right now. So when I made the animations for the door, I got an object, just any object, doesn't matter what it is, called it pairing parent, and I attached both of the objects that I want to animate. So this is the door that I want to animate, and you can see the location values here, they are zeroed out. And for the character, the values are this 8.3, so I moved them to the left by 8.5, and I moved them away from the door by 63.3. And all these values are very important for paired animations. So I'll put these values in here, and the animation will play accurately each time. And the front and the back, they both have different offsets. Okay, next is the door type for animations. So you can see that this door is a one-sided door. There's nothing in the back to interact with. There's only the front side to interact with. So I put it to front only. And you can also put it to none. So this is good for doors that that are based for physics animating only. They don't need to be locked or unlocked or played animations on. Alright, next is the animation montages. So there's the unlock montages, lock montages, and the can't unlock montages. And for each side, we are able to set different montages. So if we are facing the front, we use these montages. And also we are able to fire global events based off the montage tags inside the player montage that's playing. And you can see I didn't put any animation montages in here. That's because this is a one-sided door only. I don't need any interaction happening in the back. And the same goes for the locking and the can't unlock. Alright, so the max push and the max pull. So the way this works is if you are facing the front and you move the mouse forward, the door is going to be pushed away from the player. So that's what the push is. You are facing the front, the door will be pushed away. You are facing the back and you move the mouse forward, you are going to use the pull value, the max pull. And if you pull on the mouse while you're facing the back, you're going to use the max push value. And that's pretty much it for those two things. So the no key to lock events. So if the door is currently unlocked and we are trying to lock it up and we don't have the key for it, we are going to play these events. So this is good for heads up display or any sounds. And next is the auto close. So if the auto close is set to true, it's going to use a delay and a speed for the closing. And also we have the global events for can't unlock from this side and the can't lock from this side. So if we were facing the back over here and we are trying to lock it up or unlock it, it's going to fire these events. And this is good again for heads up display or sounds. Alright, that's pretty much it for that. So for future updates, this is going to be converted to a component that's for paired animations. Because let's say you have a different skeleton that's trying to interact with this door, you'll need to use different montages. And currently the door system does not handle that. So it's going to have to be converted to a component in future updates, possibly 2.7 or 2.6.